Hi friends, and welcome back. In my most recent video I did announce a part 2 as my introduction to the Labyrinth Oracle continued. I recorded a longer video, but I had a lot of technical issues and decided to leave it at that and upload for you the spread that I did, which actually pertains to my current life circumstances. And I thought, what better way to go about it than ask a truthful, authentic question. And I also decided to interpret, and I said this out loud, I'd like to just interpret this intuitively first, and then perhaps from there I'll take to the book and see what information is shared from there. Now, I'm having a bit of a bad run at the moment, my friends. First of all, I'm not feeling 100%, so if I seem a little brain fried, it's because I am, but I'm going to soldier on, but just saying, just try to keep it groovy. But in all my fogginess, due to the fact, I mean, you've got to laugh at yourself, due to the fact that I ended up with about 8 segments of video on my phone because I was editing and re-editing, and of course the phone saves another copy. I thought, oh, this is getting very messy. I'll just get rid of these because I've uploaded part 1, get rid of all this stuff, and then I'll upload the spread. Oops. I deleted the whole lot. Oh my God. I deleted the spread. Can you believe it? Well, I can believe it. So anyway. Now, as far as cards go, prompts, I've got all the cards. I remember them. I remember the prompts. That's not the problem. But I just had a good old laugh at myself because my reaction was like a sitcom. It was just ridiculous. I couldn't believe the accuracy of these cards, and the keywords just answered my questions. Anyway, I'm not going to let you down. I'm still going to share with you. I'll just have to ask you to believe me when I say this is the exact spread. These are the cards that I drew, and I'm sorry, I've got the fan on over there and something just blew into my eye. So yes, these are the cards that came up. So before I share the cards with you, I just want to recap. I asked a few prompts that are more or less based on this 7 card spread here. I think I just changed one because at the time it felt right. I'll read them in a moment. And I was saying in my, well, in the video that I actually deleted, yes, it's important to me to if I'm going to show you how the cards speak, there's no point in just drawing a card and pretending someone wants to ask a question. Let's just do it for real. It's such an incredible time to be alive. I mean, we've just moved out of one decade. We've said goodbye to the 20-teens, 2018, 2019, and here we are, 2020. So it is the commencement of a new decade and a very new energy to boot, because we're in the 2020s now. And so that's a big shift. It's a change in dynamic. And then when you look at your own personal numerology cycle, I'm in a year of endings. This is the story of my life. So we've got the commencement of a new umbrella energy, being a new decade. And then, so that's beginnings, commencement. Then the 2 energy, think about balance, harmony, cooperation, energies coming together in unison, hopefully. If not, boom. As that 2 energy does, it may repel. And you have a 2 with a 0. So it's 2 to the power of 10. So to me, partnership, relationship, and harmony and balance, both within yourself and with others, is yeah, front and foremost as we sail through the year 2020. So remember, 2 to the power of 10. So that 0 is an amazing energy in itself. It is everything and it is nothing. And my teacher used to say, when you're dealing with zeros, just take a look at the road you're on, and if it's a good road, well, it's highly likely that things will get better and better and better. But if it's a dark road, things could get worse and worse and worse, because that 0 energy, it's like a crystal sphere, the energy's going in all directions. So there's the 2020 year. And as many of you know, but not all of you, and if you're new to my channel, I just want to say welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for subscribing. I've noticed people coming through and I'm very, very grateful. So the last 3 years have been primarily sponsored by the Tower card and Pluto transiting the 4th house. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with astrology, the 4th house rules home. So it's the home of the emotions. It's the family home, like your current home, the family home that you grew up in, family itself, all things feminine, emotions, feelings, the past, your roots, and also wounds that when Pluto does a clear out, and boy does he, often you will experience, well, I think there's no doubt that you will experience some wounds that do bubble up from the past that have been shoved so far down into the basement you forgot they were there. So it's an incredible time if you're open and honest and you're ready to take responsibility. Clean out, clear out, and you find yourself feeling light and groovy in life if you're willing to face, let's just say, your shadow and issues from the past. So it's just one big, ginormous spring clean, let's just say, with the Tower pulling down the unnecessary. The Tower might say, look, I know you think that's groovy and all, but actually you built that on a foundation of bullshit. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Bam, right? But, you know, Jules from Cosmic Arcana and Books has also been traveling along with the Tower, and she was saying, you know, it can be that sudden disruptive blam in life, but often, more often than not, it is a journey. And I have to say, I agree wholeheartedly. For me, actually for Jules, I think we're more or less on parallel. It's around, for me, well, for Jules it's around 3 years. For me, it's heading towards 3 years. And my journey has come in increments. It wasn't just, and I've said this before, it wasn't just one big old wrecking ball, but I've seen that happen with clients, I have. But it's just this sort of steady on, steady on, steady on, but relentless journey towards tearing down, yes, the unnecessaries, and shedding so many skins. So to me, I feel like the Tower is pulling me apart from here, and Pluto's pulling me, like pulling everything through, as if he's kind of reaching up from the center of the earth and pulling all my stuff down into the earth. And all I can say is, in meditations, I just say, please just turn all the shit into little diamonds and crystals, please. If I'm letting all this energy go back into Mother Earth, turn it into a diamond. Do something good with it, right? So that's my little joke at myself. But I'm telling you this for a reason. So when I pulled the cards, I was asking, okay, I'm asking about my current circumstances. I'm asking about where I'm at, quote, where I'm at the moment. This is a check-in. And then I'd like to know a little bit about the upcoming. I'm not asking this to predict my future, but well, it kind of is and it isn't. Because my intention is to gain an understanding of the energies that are coming in after the cards inform me of what I need to let go. Because I'm on that journey already, but I know there's more. So I'll explain, and hopefully you'll understand when you see the cards why I asked what I asked. One of the key features of this spread for me is my work. And some of you will know that during this amazing journey I mentioned, I woke up one morning and felt that there was no longer a need for me to practice energy healing. In fact, and this is no word of a lie, I woke up very early and I heard in my head, I think it was my voice, like it sounded like me, you know, when you actually hear a voice, and it said, you don't need to fix people anymore. That's a quote. You don't need to fix people. Wow, was I trying to fix people? Because that's not what energy healing is about. And I feel there was a very significant message in there. I think every healer needs to be healed. It's an old saying. It's not, I didn't create that, but I thought when I first moved into that arena, I thought, wow, that makes a lot of sense. As we heal, or as we facilitate a healing for another human being, we're there practicing on ourselves also. You gain so much out of practicing energy healing on other people. But all of a sudden, it just felt like, no, it's just no longer viable. It's not that it felt inappropriate, it just felt done. Now, fast forward to today. Of course, so I cut my business in half, more or less, and continued my, what I call coaching, using tarot, astrology, numerology, to assist people to get back into the driver's seat, right? And take hold of their lives and continue to move forward. Now that, over the last 12 months especially, I feel has been diminishing. And I'm to a point where I feel like I need to start again. It's like if you're sitting with your books, like I'm looking at them now down here, I treasure my books, your home library. I feel that I am to clear out most of my books. I've actually given a lot of books away. I love books. But I'm just saying, as an example, it feels as if I'm to gather all the information that I have, give it away, wipe the slate clean, and start again, like a tarot student. And this time the study is definitely about my personal journey. Whereas when I studied tarot, it was to learn tarot. So it's like it's coming from a different angle, but you need to, like, you never forget. You know the information's there. But I'm an information hog, and I think that I do have an attachment. I have very neatly typed up folders of information from all the courses that I've done. I learned tarot and astrology in a classroom. And I feel that there's a heart against head. I want to keep them because I was going to teach. I still envisage doing that, perhaps, maybe, who knows. You know, I'm sort of oscillating between this and that. And just taking my lovely, beautifully arranged notes and giving my folder to a charity shop so someone else can just buy it for a song and learn. So that's why I asked the prompts, because I'm thinking, oh my God, am I right about this? Am I supposed to be winding down my tarot consults now? Because seriously, I don't actually mind that, but I do need to earn a bit of a wage. I don't know about you, but my money tree isn't that big yet. But you know, at the end of the day, I did give away my healing practice. I'm still here. So a big part of this is understanding what's to come and then trusting. So I'm sorry it's taken me 12 minutes to explain that to you, but it's very important. So first prompt, where am I at? And remember I said I'm going to refer to the book, but I really want this to be an intuitive reading. I just want to see how these cards speak to me. Where am I at? Well, hello. So the first card, I thought, oh, wow. Because my journey, whilst, and you know I say this tongue-in-cheek, whilst the tower was tearing down my business and certain aspects of my personal life, including myself, I was very inward focused. It was all about, delving deep into self and doing my darndest to understand what was going on, to recognize what I needed to address, and all that stuff that you know, right? It's very similar to your current tarot practice, I'm sure, but when you've got the tower knocking at your door, it's just this relentless reminder, come on, don't forget. And it's so amazing because a week before I pulled these cards, I said to a friend of mine, you know, I've been working on myself for 30 years, like really concentrating heavily and consistently on self. For actually over 35 years, that's been my main focus. And even as a kid, it's so bloody hot in here. It's a very hot day today, sorry. Even as a kid, I always felt different, always felt like the square peg in the round hole, and always felt that my interests in life were completely different to others. And just, even when I didn't really understand what self-mastery was, I still felt this sense of always working towards improving yourself, even when I was quite young. So bizarre. Not that I would use the same terminology, but that's the sense I had. And always been fascinated by the stars, planets, night sky, just things greater than. So a very kind of philosophical kid was I. And I said to a friend of mine, you know, I feel like I've just you know, every now and then, like you plateau for a while and then you really kick it up a notch in your practice, and all of a sudden you think, oh, breakthrough, this is good. I think I finally tapped into something else. And I felt like that happened again recently. And at the end of last year, towards the end of last year, I tweaked my diet. I really did change things up for the better, and my yoga practice and meditation and everything in between. Going through all my notes and culling, but rereading everything, as I shared in a recent video with my diaries and journals. And just, it's all part of the big Pluto Tower journey. But every now and then I think, I've clocked it, I got it. I think now I'm making sense of something. So for that to come up, I thought, wow, initiation. So here's a new cycle beginning again. The new person that you are, and this beautiful connection to home. You know, am I receiving this energy or am I putting it out there? I'd like to think both. Also for me, I'm primarily water and earth in my astrology chart. So that can be beautiful in one way and muddy in another, water and earth. So I have to be careful I don't get bogged down. It's wonderful to be grounded, but bogged down is a different story. So this for me, I'm low on air. So this kind of elevation, spiritual elevation, that's what came to me intuitively. And of course it's a 9 energy. Obelisks are the mutable suit in this deck. So things are moving, changing, morphing. So I'm thinking stay open, remain fluid and flexible. So there you have it. That's a very special card. Where am I at? Hopefully rising up to something real. Now, challenge. I had to laugh when I saw this. Speaking of earthy, here's the challenge. Maintenance. Trimming the hedges. Maintenance of what? For me, it's symbolic of all the mundane responsibilities we all have. Yes, we need to trim the hedges, we need to walk the dog, we've got to turn up for work, we've got to ring clients back, we've got to pay our bills and do your paperwork. So is it hard? Is it horrible? No. But when you're on this path, this is what I want to think about. I just want to study and, yeah, sit here solo in my cave and get on with my work. And this is saying the biggest challenge is to continue to take responsibility for the other work, all the other things, the familiar, the day-to-day stuff. So I'm doing it, but yeah, there are times where you think, oh, really? Yeah, go and wash the car. And in all honesty, I'm not a lazy person. I never have been. But right now, the main focus is this. So I will do this, but the prompt was, what is the greatest challenge? Maintenance. Keeping up. And, you know, you can see this is a mighty hedge here, isn't it? It's a maze, but it's a hedge. And I literally have, next door, they have a hedge that runs along the side fence between the two properties. And that thing grows like the clappers. So I am often saying to myself, I must get out there and trim my hedge. So there you go, quite symbolic. It's just reminding me that, yes, those other areas of life must not be forgotten. But it's a challenge sometimes keeping up with it. Now, that's not the guidebook, that's just me, okay? So what's the goal? When I pulled this card, I did say to myself, look, this is going to have to come from my higher self, because I have an idea what my goal is. I have a whole, I have a few ideals. I've been putting notes and ideas aside for the last, a year and a half regarding some classes I might like to teach, but I'm still teetering with that. Thinking, yes, that's it, maybe no, maybe that's not it. There's a lot of talking. As you can tell, I'm a chatterbox, but I do what I do every day, so there's a lot of talking, and I'm getting to the point where, as I get closer to this, it's like my heart saying, less talk, less talk. So maybe not teaching things where you're talking all day. You exhaust yourself. And I'm steering closer and closer towards meditation, less talking. Or yoga nidra is guided, but it's very different to teaching. You're in a very different mindset and space. So I thought, well, this will be interesting. What is my goal? And I'm thinking 2020, let's say. Wow. Change. So I interpret this as your goal this year is to make your way away from what you have. There it all is. There's the furniture behind me, heading forward in this direction towards the door. And when you get there, well, do what you do with doors. Open it. It's going to be quite different out there, apparently. And what that is, I'll find out when I get there. So trust is a big thing here also. But that's the first thing that came to me. What is the goal? Get to the door and open it. So the next prompt was, what is going to leave or what needs to leave this year? Well, this is the reaction I really wanted you to see in my original video, because I pulled construction, but look at the keyword, work. So I just got through saying, I don't know whether I should be continuing, because please keep in mind I work from home. So I do home consults. I've got Pluto traveling through the fourth sector of home, ripping things down, pulling things apart, running over with his big bulldozer, all the rest. And what comes up for work? Halt the building. No more construction required. Look, you've got solid walls. You know, they're long-term, they're dependable. And that's also what I call my familiar. I know where I am, I know what I've got, I know what I can work with, I know how much I can do per day. It's not boring, but it's a pragmatic existence. And this is saying, no. Pragmatism's good. You've got a Taurus moon, I get that, but cycle of change if you want to continue here. So, yeah. I know it's just a key word, but intuitively I thought, this is my home, my business, my familiar, my day-to-day practice. And that's what's difficult or becoming more challenging to maintain. The familiar, the security. Because really, are we secure? What is security these days? It's a veil of goodness knows what. You can have your long-term job at the bank, but that doesn't mean a damn thing anymore. So, you know, I need to remind myself of that. Yeah. So, no more building, no more work. Halt. Halt construction. Isn't it interesting that, see, all these high walls, all the maze, but this one here, this card intends to continue building to finish this wall, but my prompt is what it needs to leave. So the wall is only 3 bricks high. I can walk away from this situation. I can jump over that wall. That's not hard. It's not too high yet. But as a whole, it's saying to me what I do, my current mode of operation, my current practice, highly likely it's going to, well, it'll go, or it's going to change dramatically. So if that's the case, what's to come in its place? Because we're in 2020, the beginning of a new decade, doing my best to keep the balance, but I'm in a 9-year of endings until November. So come October, that one energy is going to start floating in. It's just this sort of gentle, it's like laying on the sand at a beach, and this gentle wave comes up and you feel it come up to your waist, and then it goes back out with the tide again. It's like that energy starts coming in and gently envelops you. That's how I feel with the changeover of the numbers. So what came in for what's coming in, wow. So rather than it be or concentrate on what you can build, what you can make, what you can create, there it is, concentrate on the experience. And all you need is you. Maybe a small attaché case under your arm, who knows? Putting on that cape, which to me, it just looks so Scorpio because it's walking into the unknown. Scorpio rules mysteries and secrets. This person is unidentifiable. We can't see, is it a man, is it a woman? So mysterious. But walking into the unknown, so it's like the cards were saying, well, once you open the door, that's the pathway that you'll see. Sorry, where am I headed? Who knows? Just keep going. I thought that was amazing. So what's coming in is a new experience. It is not based on what is or what was or what currently works. It's based on what will be. Freaked me out. It's about the experience. It's not about stuff. It's not about security. It's not about what you know. And I'm the one that said, I feel like I've just kicked it up a notch and I'm ready to, I have this yearning to be a student and start all over again. And I feel like this card's saying, I know. That's exactly what is supposed to happen. So, last but not least, I just asked for some general advice. Once I saw this card, so as I move forward, I know it's as if this card says all you need to think about is heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, right? Walking, planting your feet on the earth without getting stuck. This is pretty heavy duty, isn't it? So this is freedom, but it's all very well to levitate while you are meditating, but this journey is about, remaining grounded, eyes open, heart open, with a willingness to learn and trusting the process, trusting the journey. But if I may ask just for some advice as I move forward, that's exactly what I asked, and this is what I got, which was fascinating to me because I've been working solo from home for years now. But I used to work in a number of different centres around town, especially in Sydney. I worked in 3 different centres, like healing centres. I practiced energy healing and astrology and tarot. So it was all kind of 3 separate modalities at the time. And then because I moved and blah, 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 I ended up simply bringing everything back to my home practice and loved it. That was my dream. And over the last year or so, I started feeling like I'd like to get back out there into the community, which is why I started putting together these courses, or the possibility of conducting some courses, more like a spiritual circle, and putting a number of different techniques along with tarot oracle draws. And it's more about teaching people to help themselves rather than teaching people tarot just as a subject. And I kept wavering, and I think it still has a lot to do with this tower journey, right? Do I, don't I, do I, don't I? But collecting ideas, I still just write them down, place them in a folder until further notice. And then, as I was suggesting before, I got to the point where I felt like there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel as the person I'm growing into, it's less about talking and more about silence. So coming into a personal shift from a different angle to me saying, here, I'll hand out some papers and I'll teach you these techniques. So in a nutshell, say maybe not teaching tarot, but teaching meditation. And when I saw this, I thought, my goodness, there's that 2020 energy that I was referring to earlier. But also, intuitively, this said to me, keep walking and do some door knocking, right? And you keep searching, introduce yourself to people, get out there into the community and talk to people until you find your team member, until you find like-minded people and you resonate with each other enough to say, hey, maybe we could do something together. I mean, in reality, I plan on introducing myself to a few yoga studios as an example and seeing whether they might be interested in holding some Yoga Nidra classes, and from there just see what happens. I think also this card refers to that teamwork within. Like, to me, that's that beautiful balancing act. It's like the 2 of Cups coming together and bringing the masculine and the feminine together, or you could say the conscious mind and the unconscious working together. But it's just that whole area around unison and balance and harmony. But teamwork to me was about, you can say, look, there's birds there, there's movement. So instead of being stationary here and continuing to build upon what I already have right here, these people are on the move, they're walking, they're talking, they're discussing, they're sharing, they're collaborating. And I felt like my advice was just suggesting that I do go out there and whatever happens, happens. There's no, look, we're in the maze. There's no ending. There's no certainty other than to say, maybe join forces, or at least attempt to join forces with other people, but just talk to other people, be with other people, get back out into the community. That's what it boils down to. So that answered a question for me anyway. I could say so much more about this, I really could, but I've got another 30-minute video on my hands, so I'm going to go. Now, I did promise that I would do some, read some passages from the book. I was going to do a few spreads, a few little quick spreads in, like share some spreads, so you can just write them in your journal if you're interested, and then pull a few cards regarding a few different spreads with different decks. So I might save that for another video. I just at least wanted to share this with you first and foremost. And if I do that other, well, I will do that other video, and I will be sure to read some passages out of this book for you, just so you can see how it works. So I hope that all makes sense, because honestly, the amount of information I have in my mind right now is just vast, and I'm trying to keep it as succinct as I can for you, because it's such a big, it's a big subject right now. There's so many changes going on for me, but I'd rather do that than just pull a card and tell a story about someone that doesn't exist. It just, yeah, this is a real life experience. So anyway, if you have any questions, if I've forgotten to share something, gosh, please feel free to let me know. For anyone that hasn't seen the first video, this probably doesn't make any sense, but just keep in mind I'll place it below, and you can get to know the deck that I'm talking about, the Labyrinth Oracle. So thanks so much to James Feeney for introducing me to this deck once again, and the beautiful Natalia from Ouroboros for this beautiful gift, because I love it. Anyway, I'll talk to you real soon. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.